Hello, everybody who is checking in live. Thank you so much for coming in. I cannot wait to get this started. It is your boy right here repping Blading on the Brain, Kenneth Scott, ready to do something I've been wanting to do forever. And I have probably the best guest I think I've had so far, someone I have known forever, someone who has been one of my besties through no matter how far of a distance we live. And so I'm so juiced because we have been talking about this and it's finally happening. This is episode 100, y'all. What? Oh my God. Cannot believe it. We are here at episode 100 of Blading on the Brain, coming close to 3 years of recovery from my traumatic brain injury suffered while skating. So if you don't know my story, do check it out. If you like to hear about blading, resilience, if you know anything about mental health or you are aware of mental health and want to hear more about it, then please subscribe. Do ring the bell for notifications because that's just what we do. Share the videos because sharing is caring. And I think Biz says it best. It's just like what homies got to do for each other. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host here today. This is my boy coming up from the north, up in Portland, half of Blader Union. Let's give it some love, y'all. All the way out there, wherever you at, checking in. Give some love for my boy Travis Stewart and the whole Blader Union family. That's what I'm talking about.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Y'all have done a tremendous job. And I've been a fan of what you've been doing. I'm a Reddit troll, so you don't know that, but I have trolled on Reddit when you got started. And I'm just so proud of everything Blader Union is doing. And so to do this collab with you guys is it's a dream come true. So I'm so excited.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks for having me on too. This is, like you said, this has been a long time coming. We've been talking about this forever. I mean, I think we started laying the foundation for this back at Powwow, trying to figure out how we can get here and what we want to do. And the world got crazy, and so now it's instead of doing this in person, here we are, across the internet, and we're gonna make it work.
100% true, man. I remember those conversations late night at Powwow when everybody was done and we had finally got off the mic and we're done working, and we were having real in depth, man to man, human to human, let's talk about some real things. And so that is the foundation for which I want to have these conversations today. So we got some homies checking in, shout outs to Austin Paz and the whole Jump Street crew, because I wouldn't actually be able to do this right now if I didn't call Austin on the phone and be like, Austin, walk me through how to even set this up, please, because y'all are the pros. Help me out. And shout outs to Bill, because Bill's gave me a ton of just great feedback, his experience as Jump Street is kicking off. I see Acosta Blades is on there. Shout outs to you. What episode you at, bro? I know you deep on the list. Got to be close, if not past 100 for sure.
Probably, yeah.
200 is my guess. My little son is over there, so if you see everything C in the comments, do check out his YouTube channel. He is my motivation. He basically explained to me that YouTube is a format where I could speak to people and talk about my experience and just generally communicate and share and build community. And that's what Blading on the Brain has been for the last did we get to 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. Oh my God.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It really is. And Austin, you're right. Powwow was hella fun, and I definitely owe you a steak as soon as we can figure out how to airmail that you don't have to cook yourself.
Trump solved that a while ago, man. Come on.
Oh, right. It's all over. I'm not wearing a mask in my house by myself. It's perfect. See, look. So let's jump this off. For sure, anyone who has questions, please put them in the chat. Trav and I are going to go through the chat and make sure we answer questions that are there. Ask me anything. It really is that open. I really want to talk about mental health. I really want to talk about blade history, my own, and that I've seen. I have seen some incredible tricks go down at skate comps where I had to actually say on the mic what happened while being what? Shout outs to you, Lloyd Bryan. New York in the house, my brother forever right there.
Yeah, dude. I got some questions for you that I've been working on kind of throughout the week, some stuff that I've looked through the channel. Obviously, we watch all your episodes. We post everything up when they come out. So there are just some things that people may not know about you. I want to get a little more in depth about that. And then obviously anything that comes in through the chat, let us know. We're happy to field any of those questions. Oh, Josh just said he's 106 videos, broke 15K. So there you go, man. That's what's up.
We right there in the neck.
Yeah. So My first question, like, I know you and Ricardo did a piece a while ago, and it was who the F is Ken and Scott, and you like spoke for a couple minutes and you did your thing, but like going back full circle, like, how long have you been involved in blading? Like, when did you get your first skates?
Oh, that's throwback. I got my first skates summer of 91 or 92. It was like
Okay.
around when I was just in entering, pretty much leaving middle school and entering high school. I got my first pair of skates, and it was really just like, hill bombing. I hill bombed for years until I just got broke off hill bombing and was too afraid to hill bomb anymore.
For sure. And were you like, so were you still in the Bay then? Because I a lot of this stuff, like before I met you, I don't know a ton of that stuff, but like we've known each
Wow.
other for like what, 10, 12 years now, something like that.
Easy
So
12 years, yeah, easy
yeah.
12 years. I grew up in New York, so I'm a Brooklyn head. I grew up in Park Slope, Brooklyn, as well as Queens, but like my last few years living at home was in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So I skated with the Park Slope skate cult, and like shout out to them. We had our own blades in Park Slope, so we had our own like spot to come together. And I just one day walked by these kids who were skating the ledge and was just like, I never seen anything like that before. If they come back next week, I'll be here just to watch. And I had a pair of TRSs sitting from my hill bombing days that I was kind of afraid to put on because I had taken some really bad like falls hill bombing. And JSF. And yeah, so I started in Brooklyn. That's where it all began. And it started at PS, what is it? Oh man, I'm gonna forget the name, but we had a school that we would just sit and skate a ledge, and then we had a rail. And my first trick was a Royale, because that's like I came in right as VG3 had kind of sunsetted and VG4 was about to come off. You know what I mean? So I was like right in that almost new school transition from the original like Blade Fathers Foundation piece.
Sick. Okay. Um, and like back then, who were you skating with?
Whew. So we had our own crew. And yo, Krantz, shout out for the skate bench for sure. This is an AMOL. This is an AMOL exclusive. This is from AMOL. Like this came to the house via Krantz from AMOL. There's some AMOL remnant stickers still on there. And when
Sick.
I first got out the hospital, Krantz gave me a saw and was like, hey, let's make a bench. And I was like, you're gonna give me a saw? So shout outs to you, Krantz. But I used to skate with some dope dudes, man. Like Omar Morsi,
Okay.
that was one of the big homies. He was actually the youngest of our crew. The rest of our crew, I think the best known is Sam Hindi. Rest in peace to him. His dad is the founder and owner of Brooklyn Brewery, and he's actually the person who got skates on my feet. Our Grom, we had a Grom. Every crew has a Grom. Was Perrin, and like I mean, just shout out to the whole Park Slope skate cult. We were like 6 or 7 deep. John Rule. I'm messing up on so many names right now, and I feel terrible for it. But my boy Rios, like we had a squad, and it was dope because we used to go to Brooklyn Banks and Battle Fools as a crew. Like we were a little like before the days of Battle My Crew, we were a Brooklyn crew.
Gotcha. Okay. That's kind of what I was asking because, like, I grew up on the East Coast. I knew some of the New York heads, but not a lot of them. Definitely not like the high up dudes, like Murda, Dustin Halloran, like all those dudes who were like peak razors, repping all that kind of stuff at the time. But like, I had some dabbling with like some of the Philly, some of the New York.
So I'm kind of the generation right before that. So my
Okay.
counterparts, like people that were big, that I loved to skate with, that we didn't battle, but we were just like kind of like in awe of for a while. And then you know how rollerblading is. Once you get in there, you're like, all right, I can skate with them. But it was like Joe DeDentro, John Ortiz, like that whole section on like of crew right before Halloween, right before Murder, like like definitely the old school cats like Victor Calderon, Ray Mendez, like those were dudes that I would see at Brooklyn Banks and we would talk. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
As opposed to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when Gil Vasquez got on the rail, my crew was like, all right, let's go. It's time to battle the young bucks. When the older dudes like Rawlinson, we would just talk and like
Yeah.
be in awe of them. Ryan Jacqueline was like there are very few other like gods than like Ryan Jacqueline was a god at that time. Like if he showed up to
Yeah.
the banks, everything shut down and everyone was just like, what's he gonna do?
That's sick, man. Um, how long were you in New York before you like was it New York straight to here or okay.
No. So I started rollerblading like aggressively, like started doing grinds the summer before I went to college, which
Okay.
is crazy. So like, I might have seen the fellas in April for the first time, skated all the way through to August with them, and then went off to Boston. and basically had I did 5 years of college in Boston. I'm a Northeastern University graduate with a civil engineering degree. So a lot of my time was skating, like after class and between class. But I went to Northeastern, and the craziest part about it is, so I get to Northeastern, and you're a freshman, and they put you in like this big group, right? Meet some people, get to know some people thing. And one of the first people I met was like, is Brian Lewis of Create Originals. And so like I go to Boston, I leave like my New York crew, I go to Boston, and immediately I got Brian with me, and now we're over at Maximus and skating with Hakeem and skating with Mayan, and like I get to meet a young like a 12-year-old Dallas, and like you know what I mean, like though like man, so many good skaters from like Rhode Island and Boston at that time. So I did 5 years in Boston, and that's where we started Monks. That was where the whole like kind of idea of skating on Sundays and that being our church. And so we were like disciples of the blade. And so like we were monks. That's where that all started. That all started at Northeastern with Dwayne Cardenas. Eventually Sam Hindi joined me and came to Northeastern. And so like that crew, I mean, you know, shout outs to that crew. That's like Jamie Murray of one half of Print Brigade. Like that was my boy, Jimmy Koo, who like introduced me to the fact that like, yes, all Asian dudes have incredible style on blades. I was just like, wow, it's not just, you know, like one or two dudes that I've seen, but like, damn, everybody, all y'all.
Sure. Yeah. Sick. So you did Boston, and then what happened from there? Then West Coast?
Yeah. So then Dwayne and I, we had this idea for Monks, and we started making some t-shirts. Our first line of t-shirts was like straight out the trunk, like masterpiece style. Like we sold what we made, and then we made some more, and we were trying to get enough money to move out west, because we saw coming out here as like still in that era as the promised land. This is like 99 2000. So this is where you had to be. You had to come out west in order to make it in the rollerblading scene. New York had like some small companies that we were kind of always fighting over the same talent nonstop. And so we decided that we were just going to come out to what we felt like was the best part of the West Coast, the Bay Area, and try to meet up with some JSF fools. Like we really legit came out here being like, we have a dope scene. I want to be a part of that dope scene.
Sick. Okay. So for everybody who doesn't know Monks is Kennan's like brainchild clothing company, and you touched on a little bit of it, but like can you go a little deeper into like what the beginning of Monks was? Because even for me, like I know Monks, I remember it. I remember like the biggest sweatpants I've ever seen in my entire life on everybody, but also like, what is it? Like walk us through that, because that was a crazy era in blading for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so we basically were it's Dwayne Cardenas and I, both skaters from Brooklyn, dreadlock skaters, just had a very eclectic hip hop meets, you know, skate style at the time when, I mean, I wrote an article in Daily Bread about the misuse of the word steez. So it was at the time of like steez and Gangstar and everything. And like everything was hip hop this and hip hop that. And we were kind of like, all right, let's do it. We can make a brand. And so we took like legit, the first Monks logo is a letter from kanji, Japanese language for the M. The O is, it's the London Underground symbol, but like kind of flipped a little bit.
Isn't that behind you on that bench? You got it on the corner back there?
So that's the M. But yeah, that's our main logo. I wish I had something that had all the letters on the bench. This one is pretty cool. This was something Dwayne drew. But there's a lot of Dwayne's art. Dwayne is a graphic design artist. He was at Northeastern for graphic design, and he just had incredible art. You know what I mean? Like he just had incredible art. So we were using that incredible art and trying to create something. And so like I said, the O is the underground. The N, my favorite part of the N is it's Ash's hat symbol turned sideways. And like the X is just like we just did like a paint X. But we were just like, we want to do something. Like we want to make something cool, unique, a clothing brand, an urban brand. And so that then kind of started with, like I said, out the trunk, like 2 or 3 shirts. Then we made the hoodie that has this on the back. It has the logo down the arm. And that was like our jump off. Yep. That was like, oh, snaps. We made something that people will actually buy. Like, this is crazy. So let's sell a lot of them. And so we sold a bunch. Moved out here, met up with Ezekiel Anderson at the time, trying to find distribution. But the whole time, the whole goal was to uplift like the underground. We wanted to be the underground dope team. So like when people would say, "Oh, I want to buy some monks, but your team is not that famous," and I'd be like, "Yet." You don't know them yet, but they're some of the best bladers across the country. Because another truth is that we left Boston with Sam Yem of Life Plus and Mayan Tamang of like, I'm the closest person ever to land the leap of faith. And we drove cross country. And everywhere we stopped, we basically set up like a little offshoot monk squad. So like we go to Ohio and we're in Dayton and we meet the OSS fools. And wait, what the? Dude, what? Hello?
What are you doing?
Is this not OnlyFans? My bad.
Shit.
What? My dude. What's this in the house, yo?
I thought this was. I paid $3.99.
Yo, you just hacked my show, bro.
You know the vibes. You can't have nothing up later. You got me going out.
I gotta lock down the stuff at Blader Union, man. Everybody's getting in.
I got all the passwords.
Exactly. Play passwords down. So welcome, Biz. We were talking about monks. We were throwing it back to the old school before your time, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's like right when my time started.
Dope. So then you know. So like we came across country. We met up with these dudes in Ohio and called the Ohio Smokestacks. If you were on BMAG at the time, you understood them. Oh my God. Yeah, we want to talk about which fans only site you were trying to link into. Yeah. So we stopped in Ohio. We met these dope dudes, right? You got like Seffi, these guys called Ben and John Schwab.
Oh yeah, who
really
are those dudes?
Cool dude named Omar Weissong. And we were like, wow, you guys are dope. Why don't y'all join our squad? And then they were like, cool, give us some shirts. We were like, we actually have some here. Where are those shirts? We'll put you guys in the catalog. And then the next stop is Grays Lake, Indiana. And, you know, who knows what Grays Lake is? But if you know that that's the home to Mike Radabaugh, right? And so we stop and we kick it with Mike Radabaugh and like his whole crew. And then we keep moving. And every stop across the country was like basically navigated through BMAG's message board. And V on the computer every now and then being like, all right, yo, I got some people that I know in Reno. We could stop there. And we would just go there and we'd couch it up and we'd talk about monks. And so that got us out west. We landed here and just really tried to make a company out of it. And for I think it was like 6 years that I hustled monks, like straight up cold calling shops like, yo, you never heard of Ben Schwab, but he's dope. And you've never heard of Brandon Smith, but trust me, they're like the next wave of like amazing skaters and you should get our clothes. And along the way, we made some really cool pieces. We made some major mistakes, no lie. I got slapped by the tax man a couple times. Went into some extreme credit card debt to make a video. And but I think that was the culmination, is when we made History version 1 and took it down to ASR and premiered it at a booth with like Able and Esoteric and all these up and coming companies. And we had our own thing and we were just like, look, we're at ASR, man. We didn't like sneak in. We're here. We paid to be here. We paid for electricity and everything.
Sick. That's sick, man. I remember, so was History the one that had like the best section with B Smith in the suit getting in and out of a limo to like do tricks?
Oh my gosh.
Yo, best story about that is your boy went through 2 suits in like the matter of like 6 months. He went through 2 suits and the first one was too small and he kind of tore it. But like that was a time when Brandon Smith never fell. So we were like, bro, if you're never gonna fall, wear a white suit and we'll just rent a limo and you can just like come out the limo and lace a trick. And it just beautiful.
That was like that was the exact conversation. Like I was talking with Fallon Heffernan about it like back in Florida, and we were just like, that dude just filmed a whole profile in a white suit with no marks on it, like not a scuff anywhere. You can't do that. Like I miss one trick and half my pant leg is covered in wax, and he's like, white suit, out the limo, no problem.
Like legit.
Funniest thing is my dad saw that section. like YouTube, and he was like, "How come you can't look like this while you're skating? Why do your pants have to be so big and sagging, and you can look like this and still do the same stuff?"
I'm so proud of that moment. Thank you, Biz.
It's the truth.
My millennium right there, dude. That's
ESG just said Julio's uncle was the limo driver.
Yo,
tight.
It's not.
Oh, that's
true.
tight.
It's not true.
It's not true though.
It's not.
Oh, damn it! Like, that sounds so sick.
Was his section also? Was it the smoke machine too? Like the smoke machine and limo? Or was that someone else?
That was Scott Moore. That was AKA Smoke More on Instagram. That was
Scott Scott Moore. I just watched his monk section right before I jumped on this call, and like, Jesus, that dude is nuts. It's the scariest looking dude ever. Like
Scott, man, and yes, I did drink all the Johnny Walker that night. But Scott, Scott's the dude that like you never knew that I had tricks on rails because Scott always kinged it after I did it. And so my clip was never going to be seen because it was like, why would you show this topsoil when Scott went topsoil to gap topsoil? Well, there goes my clip. Thanks, Scott. Yeah. Chances are I did the topsoil first, but then Scott came and just was like, nope, you can't even miss.
Yeah, the one that stood out for me from the part I just watched was like 6 foot gap to topsoil on a kink rail. And the kink's like this big, but it's like 10 stair, kink, 10 stair. And he was going so fast. Like he flew through that kink. There was no body motion to go up and down because he was going so quick. Like that was nuts, man.
That movie, I mean, shout outs to Austin. Yeah, let's do a movie night on that one because that movie has some of the best skaters. I mean, like Omar Weissong's section is gangster. We did all of Kel McKenzie's section in 8mm film, which at the time was like brand new and no one was like taking film and actually like producing it that way. And that's what V really wanted to do. And so I was like, fine, let's break the budget and let's get you some 8mm film. So his whole section, then there's like a whole night section. And then of course, I mean, I can't do this without talking about Fish's section, which is like, we were talking about that this morning. He asked me who my favorite woo banger was. And you could throw that in the questions. Cause like, man, his section, that made Daily Bread. Like we made a whole like interview in Daily Bread just based on the tricks from that section. Like it was,
I feel like I have that Daily Bread somewhere.
He's supposed to have the cover, but you know, Keith got it a little blurry, so he didn't get the cover. Shout outs to Keith Wilson, but also probably should have had Ryan Schutte do that cover.
I feel like monks fit into this like perfect time slot where you guys kind of got lost to time. Like people who are here and have been here forever, like we all know about monks, but like most of the new people have no idea. And there's no history of it. Like you talk about Mind Game, everybody knows Mind Game. You talk about 4x4, everybody knows, but like monks fit this little slot. And it's just like, it got lost to time. I went searching for some stuff to try and like pull up for the stream. And there's a skateboard company called Monk's Clothing now. And it's like, really? Like, all right, I guess you guys straight just jacked the whole thing, but sure.
They're out of another country, so they, or a state or something. So they were able to skip on the copyright. Trust me, I looked, I was like, that's not fun.
Monk's like went out right when I was like starting. But I remember getting Roller Warehouse with like, I want this shirt. I can't afford it right now, but I want this shirt. Someone get me this shirt before I can't get it. And it wasn't even in my size, I think.
So Monk's team was Scott, B. Smith, Billy, Omar,
Kel McKenzie,
and then who else?
And so that was like, those were like the five like that we put out. They all had their own like color. They all had their own like ad. And then if you were to have like an AM team, it was Victor Arias, Ben Schwab. Trying to think of who else was in that mix. Man, at that point it was just like family, but like Ben Schwab, Victor Arias, they were the next to come up and be like, so right when you got to learn about it, I was dipping into cut and sew and trying to take monks into more of a fashion like section and take it a little bit away from streetwear, which I kind of like, you know, had started dying down. Like tight pants had come in and like everybody wanted to have the pineapple head that we was talking about and like the tight fit. And so I wanted to transition monks. Oh yeah, for sure. Josh Latona, L-Star. Thank you. Thank you. Josh Latona, his sections don't make no sense. And the whole monk section makes no sense. But yeah, we were trying to do some cut and sew pieces, and then I got the Daily Bread interview, which is AKA the Kiss of Death. And yeah, it was weird how it ended. It was like I tried to do something unique and new, and I said about this in my wheel scene interview, and Ezekiel and I have since like squashed it. But like I tried to do something new, timing wise. The distribution needed to put some stuff out. I felt like it got put out half done. I got really pissed. At the same time, my boys were like, "Are you making money on this?" And they're not cutting me in. And I'm like, "No, I'm losing money hand and foot like every day." And so I was just like, "This is too much." And it was actually the only time. So post Monks, I took like a 6 month to 8 month break just from rollerblading in general. Like, just was like, I'm gonna peace out and like try to remind myself why I rollerblade, why we started this, because it was all about Sundays. It was all about meeting up with the fam at like 9 a.m. for church on Sunday. And so I kind of had to go back to that. And that's how Monks ended. But for the comments out there, would I reprint some of my favorite Monks clothes? Yeah, I have 2 logos that I brought back. The paintbrush Monks that has like the M with the circle. I got my boy, shout outs to all the people who did the art on that. Like my boy Devin Harris did some of the art. Dwayne did some of the art. We had friends do the photography, like Keith and Christy. Like it was a family affair, man. And I definitely will bring some stuff back. So when you look on Teespring, you'll see some new Monks gear for sure.
Is there gonna be like Monks on the Brain?
I don't think so.
Listen, just give me $2, we'll be fine.
You're the idea man. You keep plugging me ideas. I got this.
It's what I do.
So, got Monks out of the way, and I mean, at that point, I think was like when you and I probably crossed paths somewhere in there. Post Monks, like everything was kind of moving just beyond and doing its own thing, and like blading was pretty dead when it comes to like a lot of stuff. I think at that time we had like still had ASA and a couple other small things, but like that was pretty much it. It was just like the underground stuff going on that we were holding in. And I remember like coming across you because you were emceeing a lot of different events. Like you were always the voice of every contest. And it's funny because like the more you and I know each other, the more I go back to like all these old videos and I hear you like on the mic. Don't see your face, but I just hear your voice. I'm like, yeah, it's Kenan again. Like you're always there. You're always on the mic. So when did you start? Like, when did you end up being the voice for a lot of this stuff?
I think this is just shout outs to my partner in crime. We are the best MC duo ever created. And if you want to hire us for your event, you should try to get us out of retirement. That's me and ESGL Presidente Garcia. And so I think he had this idea to start the Kind Grind Classic. That was right at the time when I was trying to re-enter the game, but on a way that felt more like small scale, local. Like Monks had gotten global. And like, it's crazy because now I'll see videos from London where kids were rocking Monks gear. And I'm just like, I forgot that Monks had become a global chain. Like we were selling everywhere. And so I think I had to bring it back in. And so Eric started the KGC and he was like, I want you to judge. And I was like, for sure, I'll judge. And I think it was really like in that moment that I was like, I'm gonna MC this thing. Give me the PA. And it's like moments like Tommy Boy doing the invisible fast slide, right? And I'm on the mic like, oh my God, you know, like, and saying things like that was butter, you know, and like having moments like that. And then it just felt natural to have that play-by-play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It felt natural to be in that space of like just calling out tricks and trying to amp people up. And that just became really fun. And so then new opportunities to do that came up, like Barn Burner. Barn Burner I think that was my turning point. Went up to SeaTac and did the second and third Barn Burners and saw, I called that 540 Kind Grind from Brian Aragon through the turn, 540 out, you know, like I called that. And I was, or no, actually that's
Top Soul 900, right?
The Top Soul 900 out, that's what it was.
Oh,
it was. That same competition was the 540 Kind Grind from Chris Haffey down the rail. Like, you know, calling those moments, I felt like a part of history, right? And then you get kind of juiced on that. You kind of really like, you know, it's like an endorphin rush to be a part of that moment when the trick lands and everyone's like, or to be part of that moment when like you gotta juice everybody back up because the skaters are getting tired and the crowd's getting tired. And you gotta work it, and that just harkened back to some of my old school acting days. For those who don't know, I was a child actor.
Oh yeah, you are.
So
how'd you leave this out? What were you a child actor in?
Yo, I have the clip. I don't have it pulled. I can't pull it up, but I have the clip ready to go. I'm just waiting for something to use it for.
Ooh, you terrible. I'm scared. you used my face last week, and I was like, yo, your boy just hijacked my face. He just straight hijacked my face.
I'm sitting on it. Sitting on it. I can't wait. Oh my God. It has to be perfect.
When I was little, growing up in New York, I had a friend, and he had like 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and they were actors. And I thought, wow, we were in dancing school together, for those who don't know. I grew up in a dancing school. My mom knew I was tight when at the age of like 11 or 12, my homies from regular school came over for like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out-a-thon, AKA sleepover. And they found my ballet shoes and they tried to get at me. And they're like, oh, you got ballet shoes. And I was like, yeah, bro. When you spending Saturdays with a bunch of dudes, I'm spending Saturdays with a bunch of girls. So like, be mad all you want. But like, do you? I'm gonna do me.
Yep.
And so, like, I was with them at dancing school. There were probably like 3 boys at the time. One of them, his name's Braun. Funny now, that's like a regular name. But then
what a name! What a name!
But shout out to Braun. He and his siblings were actors, and I just said to my mom one day, I want to do that. It looks fun. And I sucked. I went to the first interview with my, shout outs to my manager, who's my manager forever, Vicky Frankmano. What's up, Vicky? I sucked. I was terrible. My first interview, terrible, bombed it. First, I remember my first audition, it was for KFC. And they were like, try a piece of chicken and tell us how good it was. And I tried it and I was like, yo, this is raw, bruh. They're like, get out. You're gone. And I was like, what? But it is. You didn't, it's cold. Why would I want this? And that became like a career from when I was 5 to when I was 18. I did 3 episodes of The Cosby Show. There's a dope podcast, Rocktown Press, where Ryan Kranz breaks down to me the whole scandal about Bill Cosby, because I had no idea. And he like drops it off, and I'm like, oh, you feel my heart like just get crushed, because Bill Cosby was like a hero to me. Like I was there in his like dressing room, learning how to act from him, like talking to him while he played bongos and smoked cigars about all the famous people on his wall and what it was like to meet Johnny Carson or like sit with, like it crushed my spirit. But I did that. I had hella commercials. If you go on my YouTube channel, I actually have a playlist. I've been scrubbing YouTube for all my old commercials. Shut up, Biz. I shouldn't have put that.
You said it. It's out now. Like he knows.
Now I know where he's getting. I already see where he's getting his fodder from. He probably already knew about it. See, troll.
I got the same playlist just on my computer.
So yeah, I have a playlist of some of my old commercials, and I was in a couple movies. I think the biggest one was The Preacher's Wife. I was in The Preacher's Wife. Me and Shaheem, the rugged child from Shaolin, kicking it, and we had like little bit roles, but we had lines, and yeah, it was really fun. I did it till I went to college, and then I was like, I'm gonna go get a real job.
Sick.
Who knows if that was the right decision or not?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
We're sitting here on YouTube with like, 25 people listening to us. We're doing all right.
I think
we're doing fine. So I have a question, if I can interject. I don't know if you're about to get to this. A story that I like that I know more people would like to hear is you doing the voice of the Second Regime video. Can you touch, how did that happen? Again, you know what's funny? Another little backstory about it. When you told me about it, I had no idea it was you. And I was like, wait, what? And completely broke everything that I had thought, because I was like, wait a minute, you've been in my life for so long. Could you tell people about that story?
That was like a Hot 102R, right?
Hot 102R.
Yep. I got to make a joke for Vinnie Minton. I think that was my favorite part about the whole thing, was like talking about there's some smooth R&B being played for Vinnie Minton, but or some BTS or something. I don't know. How did that happen? So I moved out here with Sam Yem, V3000, Victor Solomon, literally balling, boys got monikers, right? I moved out here with him, and he just wanted to make rollerblading videos. Like that's just what he came out here to do. And so off and on, we were roommates. And for a long time, he was roommates with Mayan and then other people. And then we both wanted to move to SF. And so when we moved to SF, we moved together, and we lived together with our homegirl, Claire Fisher. She's Brian Crane's wife. Go figure, right? She's stuck in the game too. So the three of us lived in a house together, and it was just, that was the height of V making movies. All the Life Pluses, all the Deshi destruction, like all those videos came from that like 3-year, 4-year time period that we lived together. And so I'd just be kicking it in the back room while he was editing, just doing me, chilling. He had the biggest room, so I kicked it in there. And he'd be like, yo, let's do this thing. And I'm like, all right, whatever, let's try it. What if you do a hosting for Life Plus? That's how the Metro City happened, right? I was emceeing that contest, and B was like, why don't you intro it? And I was like, all right, cool. You give Arlo all the jobs anyway. Let me get this job. Truth be told, I'm trying to fight Arlo for all the jobs. Like, Arlo, step off. Give me some jobs.
Shout out Arlo.
Step off, bro. But yeah, we were just sitting there, and he was like, yo, we're gonna do this Second Regime video. And I was like, dope, what's it gonna be about? And he was like, I don't know. And we were listening to the music, and I was just talking over the music, and I was like, yo, let's do it like this. And he was like, oh, snaps, that's tight. And it just flowed, and it became Hot 102R with the voice of Chaotic Wonder on the microphone, I think it is. I think it's the Chaotic Wonder. And yeah, I look back at those, I'm like, I cannot believe that we just like had the freedom to just say, well, that's what it is. It's a
so
mixtape.
Funny. I'm sorry. It's so funny because it's like, before I became who I am now, and like knowing everybody and meeting everyone, those videos, it's so out there. It's just like, I'm never gonna meet this person. I'm never gonna know these guys. You know what I mean? It's just like a really, I don't know how like the right word to explain it, but it's just like you kind of look up to that growing up. And so when then you meet the people, and it just like solidifies it even more, because it's just like, you're a dope dude, and then you did this, and like, oh, this is just some regular Saturday stuff, and then like, I'm like, oh yeah, because that's how I do my show. Like, it's just some regular Sunday stuff. That's so sick.
Yeah, it's a weird like smoke and mirrors for sure, because it's the same deal. Like, you know, you don't know anybody, and then like, I mean, for me, like, I ended up on this Razors tour in like 2003 with like Shima, Stockwell, Dunkel, Murda, Dre. Like, we're all in a van just cruising around, and I'm sitting here like this kid, and I'm just like blown away. Like, it was the craziest moment of my life to spend 4 days on the road with these dudes. Like, same thing. And then like after that, it was like, oh yeah, that's just normal for them. Like, they just show up, they do stuff, and then they leave.
I'll tell you full circle, Biz. This is full circle Grom territory. So I went to Lausanne in, I think, 96, summer of 96. Broke, like legit broke. Went and met my homie in France. My boy skated, I met in college, met him in France. He was like, yo, the Lausanne comp is happening, so let's time it so that we can go to Lausanne and see the comp. And I was like, yo, this like VG stuff, man. I want to go. And so we go, broke. I'm talking about broke, bro. Like, we slept the first night in the playground. The second night I slept on the box that you get clips of people gapping over. I slept on the box. Like, I was just I remember Matt Andrews waking me up to be like, can I do some tricks? And I was like, oh, Matt Andrews. Right? Like, wow. I remember the first night I knew John Ortiz, right? So he was there, and I was like, John, what's up, dude? This is crazy. I'm here. You're here in New York in the house. And he was like, yo, come kick it with me and Randy. And I was like, Randy? He's like, Randy Spicer. And I was like, oh, yes. And so we had like this awesome fire night on the beach, me and John and Randy and Renee Holgren and all these people, right? And I'm just like, you fast forward 15 years, and Randy and Louie are sleeping in the back room that we converted into like some kind of room so they could film for Deshi, and so they could film for like, you know, like Juice Video, and like those with my homies, right? And you're just like, oh yeah, Louie's playing Xbox all night. It's cool. We'll go over there, you know, like. But like 10 years before that, Grom Central, just like, yeah. I touched Renee Holmgren. I saw Matt Andrews like this close. He's right there.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's rollerblading, though. And I think what's cool about rollerblading is like you gotta surround yourself with like people who skate hella good. And then you rise to the occasion sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. You challenge yourself probably too much.
Yeah. So this next question, kind of talking about emceeing, talking about everything like career wise, it's going to transition to like kind of the next stuff I want to talk about. But like, what do you think your hardest moment you ever had on the mic was, like at any blading event? Because like at Powwow, I went through a moment, and it was like tough, man. It was real tough. But I know you've been at some like New York invitationals and things like that where like shit got heavy fast. So do you think back to anything?
Oh man, there's just like these epitome moments. And so, you know, there's like different struggles, right? There's like the struggle of like, it gets really hard because like there's like New York Street Invite. I had Adrian Ann with me. And for those who don't know, Adrian Ann is a trick dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Like your boy knows every trick, can tell you who did it switch, what their switch spin was, all in the moment. And so like I couldn't keep up, but I had him right next to me and I was like, oh, bam, da 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 da. Yeah, boo, boo, boo. Because it was like everywhere. Like those type of competitions where people are hitting everything at one time, the jam style. Whoo, your mouth is going a mile a minute. Your head is on a swivel. So you need a partner. Me and ESG are perfect at that. We're like, one person's calling out over here, one person's calling out over there. Or like he's calling out tricks and I'm just adding the flavor to it. Powwow, every year the sound is crazy. Like shout outs to, you know, the crew, but like it's always crazy. Like we're always struggling with the mics to get enough volume. And so then you're screaming all day. Yeah. And so by the end of the contest, you remember this last powwow, I couldn't even do the finals because I was just like, oh.
Yep.
And so that's always the struggle. And then I think just like seeing the tricks and not wanting to like freak out because you got to wait for the person who's coming right after. So like New York Street Invitation, the first one, Broskow's doing that gap to the container box. And he's like lacing, but then CJ's like right after, like trying to win this contest. And you're just like, Rabbit, oh my God. But like ultimately, I don't know. It's not hard at all. It's right. It's just fine, especially when you got somebody to vibe with. I think when you do two people, it's much better.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the same thing when it's me. Like I'm definitely like trick dictionary. I know all that kind of stuff. Like I don't have a lot of the flavor. And luckily, I mean, you filled in all those spaces, which was like perfect. We handled powwow. So we did what we could before the pandemic.
Yo, like real talk though. But shout out to Shane because he came in. Shane McClay came in at the end and like helped out because I was not able to do the finals. I actually ended up spending the whole finals talking with at Joe Atkinson. Like I was just like, yo, bro, like let's just talk. I can't do this anymore. Just scream at regular tricks like regular people. I think honestly the hardest part, I'm gonna be honest. The hardest part is that all day I want to skate and I can't.
Yep.
I can't lace them up. And like the whole comp will go by and you won't have laced anything on any of the obstacles because you didn't have the time. And I think that's the crappiest part of emceeing. Like you just
I feel like that should be part. You should be able to skate and announce. Like you be up close because then you'll see what tricks is happening.
You say that, man, but like, dude, by the end of powwow, like I had announced for 3 days straight, like I couldn't even bomb the snake run. Like I was so exhausted. Like my legs didn't work. Like Kenan and I were hiking up the top of that hill at 12 at night, like trying to skate down the snake run, and just like we did like 3 runs, and I was like, I'm done, man. I can't do anything else.
Like I need some rest. Like ESG said right there in the comments, like we realized after maybe the second or third Blade Cup that like it was really cool to go to all the after events, but like really all we needed was some ramen in the hotel room. Like just like go to the ramen spot, refresh the pipes, and then like just like take it off your feet and like don't see nobody for a little bit. So I think the last 2 years that we did Blade Cup, like nobody saw us afterwards. It was just like, nah, we out. We're done.
Sure. Yeah. So I know we're like kind of halfway through all this. I want to pivot to some more important stuff that I want to talk about, and like what essentially has brought us to episode 100 here, which is TBI, traumatic brain injury, and blading on the brain. So it was like 3 years ago now that you took a fall, and can you like walk us through what you remember about it, what you know about it, like how did you end up in this spot? Because I know there's people you talked about before on your channel, but it's deep back there before you had a lot of subscribers, before a lot of people have paid attention, but like this is a huge part of what defines you now. And, like I knew you 10 years ago and I knew you at powwow, and those are two different people. Like you're an entirely different person. Like I remember like we gave each other a hug and like both of us like broke down into tears because it was like, we're there, like we're in this moment that almost didn't exist again. And like, it's huge. So do you want to talk briefly about it?
Biz, you see this dude trying to get me to cry?
I understand why you put the helmet on to try to make people laugh, but I'm listening to this question, okay?
Yeah, man. So the story is like one of what many of us have and faced is like I was out skating, I fell, and I hit my head. I think like you talk to bladers, and probably 80% of bladers will say that that's happened to them twice, 3 times. Just hit my head. It was cool. I got the boogers or stars. I felt a little, but no blood, so I was good, right? But then there's like the stories we hear of where we know people have died, right? We know people have died, and like David Sizemore wore a helmet forever, and I felt like he didn't get the props he deserved for that. So like, shout outs to him because he did that for a really damn good reason. His
He
homie
did
died.
that.
He's
Yeah.
seen it, and
Yeah,
like
Josh. Yeah.
I, I don't know.
And
I don't know how
I feel
my
like we
homie
talked so much mess at the time too.
way too much.
Yeah.
He should have stopped wearing the gloves. I think it was the gloves.
It was the gloves because they went from the helmet to the headband, and we had questions.
But yeah, I was out
I
skating.
never got answers.
I was out with Matt Bulger and Brian Cranch. Shout out JSF always. I was out with the homies. We were just doing a regular routine like maintenance session. You know, you got to do it for the body, for the brain, and get it out and make sure your feet still work. And I just did a soul grind on the box at Berkeley Skate Park, and I stuck. And I was going fast because I didn't want to wax. There were a bunch of skateboarders there, and I wasn't trying to cause no beef. And I didn't wax anything, and so I just hit this box, that like an A-frame. I hit the top of the A-frame, little gap to A-frame, and just stuck and fell straight to the bottom, but backwards. Like it just propelled me. I don't know how, sideways or backwards, and I just fell backwards. And like I say in the video, like most of this I don't remember because I just was immediately out. But the homies, like they were like, "Bro, you hit your head, you were out for like 30 seconds, and then you got up and we're just like, I'm good," and tried to like skate it off. Like mind you, I still had skates on. Just like you just tried to skate it off, but we were like, he's not good. Like, this is not good. You were unconscious. Like I was very violent. So what I learned about myself in this whole experience is like, I'm a New Yorker. We don't do flight. When times get scary and weird, we go straight to fight. We're like, nah, bro, back up off me. I got to fight for space. I'm a New York rat, and we don't got enough space. And so I was really violent, and there were kids there and moms, and I think I hit Crayons. I'm known to punch Crayons. He's like my best friend, but I am known to punch him in the face. I've done it twice now.
Known to punch Crayons? It's terrible.
It is terrible.
He's like the nicest person.
He's the nicest guy. Don't punch Crayons. Crayons, I'm sorry he punched you.
So like I got up, he tried to stop me, I punched him. They called the ambulance. I think the only people I respected were in uniform, right? I'm a black man. I'm probably hell afraid. The minute I saw people in uniform, I was just like, okay, whatever you want me to do, I don't care. But Bulger took my keys, hid them from me, so I couldn't drive. I was trying to drive home. I was just gonna dip. I got in the hospital, or I got in the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. The homies really like, I think Bulger went with me. Crayons went to get my wife. Like Claire came. Like the whole family just circled around like this traumatic experience. And I woke up in the hospital a few days later, and I was kind of like, what's up? And I had been going through what I didn't know at the time was like seconds of being alert and then going back to sleep. And then seconds of being alert and asking the same questions, like, why am I here? What's going on? And then passing out. And then coming back, passing out. And I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that. Like when I finally came to, I was just like, what the hell is going on? At one point, I remember being strapped in because I was so violent that they actually had to like put restraints. And I remember tearing the first restraints off. They were like just some cloth restraints. And I was like, yo, I'm out. Wolverine style. So then I remember this, like, this is the crazy memories you have when you have a traumatic brain injury, because like everything was about people taking away my freedom. From the moment I fell, I just felt like everyone was just stripping me of my given freedom and being like, no, you can't do that. No, you can't drive. No, you need to get in this hospital. You need to do this. And so I woke up the second time and I remember being like, oh, y'all put the upgraded ones with the plastic on the cuffs now, huh? Can't break these. Okay. Figure out how to get out of this one real quick. And so I was in the hospital for a week. I think the final diagnosis was I had 4 skull fractures. One goes through my occipital, but it goes through my eye. Like it basically goes through the back of my eye lobe. Like it's in there. So when I get headaches or when I'm stressed or when emotions get too high, I end up having this like intense pain right here. Like I can tell you the exact spot where the fracture is because I feel pain there. I had tremendous frontal lobe damage because when things you don't know, things you learn, but forget maybe? Your brain is trapped in goo.
Exactly. Bounces around.
When you hit one side,
Yo,
the other
why
way.
did I not think about that?
So
there's goo in there.
The actual hitting of my head was one thing, but the rebound just scrambled my frontal lobe. Like literally just scrambled my frontal lobe. I have like legit brain damage for life on my frontal lobe and in parts of like my center of my brain. I lost my sense of smell. I'm at almost 3 years of recovery, and like there are still things like today. I was like, ooh, that smells like peach, honey. And she was like, that's salt. And I was like, oh. I didn't eat that. That's salt? How does salt smell like peach? Because all the factory senses, all your nerves go right through here. And so when you scrambled this whole thing, I had a bunch of severed nerves. And yeah, man, it's just like what it did was it brought me back to the reality that like life, humans, we're all super fragile. We think we're like invincible, but like our bodies are actually really fragile and like we need to take care of them. And so 6 months into recovery, I started to kind of understand what was happening and like how I was different, like you said, how I had this like revelation of like what life means and like had been through pretty much the worst. Like I came out of the hospital unable to walk really. I couldn't balance on one leg. I couldn't balance and turn my head. I would just fall. The first moments I remember coming in the door were like everyone being like, let me help you take your shoes off. And being like, nah, I'll take my damn shoes off. I got this. And falling, like trying to take one, like picking one foot off the ground and just falling, just immediately just falling into the house. I was full of bravado. I was full of just like ego, I think, and just had no idea how close to death I really had come. And then I think what's real is that afterwards, you see the ripple effects in yourself, you see the ripple effects in your family. And when we were at powwow, I took that moment on the mic really to remind folks, like, if you don't want to wear a helmet for yourself, I ain't tripping. But if you got kids, if you got family that care about you and love you, you should wear it for them. Because the worst thing that I think really has come out of this is seeing the trauma that caused my family. And like how that comes back every year around this time. We relive the emotions. And so that like, I don't wish that on nobody. Coming back on my own, like learning how to blade again, learning how to like, see. I had double vision for like 3 months. I saw things pixelated, like it was AOL dial-up for like 2 weeks. Like everything was just pixels. Like cars were just big pixels. They didn't have definition. They didn't have like 3D. They were just a gray pixel.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, it's scary, dude. It like you mess with your brain and like you realize that it basically controls everything.
And that's the thing, like, I just want to remind everybody who's like tuned in and listening to this is like, you fell on a soul grind, like the most basic trick there is, like, and that's the thing is, man, the hardest falls I ever have are the ones where I'm standing still and all of a sudden my feet just go out from under me. Like you're standing up on the deck talking to your friends and all of a sudden your feet are just gone and you're like flipping through the air, like it makes no sense. Or the worst is like you do a trick that and so you're not prepared to fall and you take that fall extra hard. And like, it was a soul grind, man. Like that's the craziest thing. It wasn't 540 kind grind down a drop rail off a roof. Like it was a fucking soul grind. Like
and at that park, I've done the biggest things at that park. Things that like Ichi and like the pros have done, I've done with them. And that wasn't it. Like that wasn't the thing that got me. So yeah, it really is like you just gotta remind yourself that every time we strap up, you put yourself at risk. Fun, hell fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to live with the fact that like the thing I probably love second to my family most is skating, and it damn near killed me.
Yeah.
But I still love it. It's the worst girlfriend I've ever had.
The thing you shout out on the mics too about like, it's not about you if you want to not do it, like if you're just not going to wear a helmet because you don't want to do it, don't do your thing. But like, look at the last like 10 months that we've gone through as a society. Like you don't wear a mask for yourself. You wear a mask for the people around you. Like think about that in the same context of like, you're doing this for the people that you love and the people that you care about. Like that's really the whole thing. And like, I went through definitely not as bad as you, but I went through a brain injury right before I went to powwow in 2013, I think. And I was skating my bowl that I used to have here in Portland that you came out and skated with me. And it was like me, couple friends, Broscow, like we were all skating, and I did this trick and I don't remember much of it, but I like came out of the bowl, went up this like quarter pipe on the side and did like a stall. And I went to come back into the bowl, and I guess I clipped my feet on the way in, and I fell 11 feet to the front of my face. And I woke up hitting the ground. Like that was the moment I was alert, and like, boom, I remember the impact on my head. And I just kept repeating myself, you know where you are, you know what's going on, you know your name, you know what day it is, you know where you are, you know what's going on, you know your name, you know what day it is. And I kept saying this thing over and over, and they're trying to talk to me. I was like, give me a second, let me do this. I need to remember this moment. And they're like, okay. And I remember like, okay, I'm good. And then I don't remember anything else. Like, and I remember just spots. Like at one point I was on the phone with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I'm good. I can drive. I know I'm good. Like I'm totally conscious. I know what's going on. Like I can tell you everything that's happening. And then I don't remember anything for like 10 minutes. Somebody threw me my shoes at the bottom of the bowl. Like I got my shoes on. I don't remember how I got out of the bowl, but I was on the phone again. And like, I remember walking down the street because I had to lock up the building, and like, it was a lot, man. It was just crazy. And so I don't remember, like, apparently she checked my eyes multiple times throughout the night because she was a nurse. And I only remember it once. I don't remember anything else. I don't remember being awake. And like I had an interview the next day for a job, and I had to show up with this like huge like bulge on my head. And I'm like, I swear I'm not a crackhead in Portland, like walking the streets. I'm cool. But I fractured the front of my head too. So I had a fracture through my skull down to my eye socket. I had cheekbone fracture. And then same thing, it bounced the back of my head. So I had like bad headaches in the back of my head for weeks. And I went to powwow. I was going to compete, and I couldn't even compete. I couldn't put on a helmet and like skate. Everything was out of balance and out of whack, and like it sucked, man. And then I was okay. I recovered, and like I didn't have long lasting effects from that. But I also like I didn't wear a helmet after that either. Like I got to a point like 3 months later, and I was like, I don't need this. Toss the helmet and let it go. And then I woke up one morning and had this like epiphany of like, I'm just going to wear a helmet. Like I got no reason not to. I got nothing to prove, and I'm going to spend 2 months dedicated to like, I'm going to wear a helmet and see where it gets me. And at the end of the 2 months, I'll make a decision where I need to be. And it got me to the point where like, I can't skate without my helmet. I did the other night, I did one trick on our little grind box. And as soon as I landed, I was like, ooh, there's a breeze in my hair. What do I, like, I got to run and grab my helmet. Like, this is weird. But like, I thankfully didn't have those long lasting effects, but like seeing you and seeing what you've gone through had such an impact on me. Like, and it that's why like I ran up and gave you that hug when I saw you at powwow, man. Cause like, dude, you've come to Portland. I met your family. I met your kid. I met your beautiful wife. Like, dude, I almost lost you. Like, it's crazy. Like, and we almost lost like this huge voice and this persona in blading. And like, in a way we kind of did, you know, because like you couldn't skate for a long time. You couldn't be a part of this for a long time. And now you're back and you're doing what you can, but it's just, you know, like, even for me, there's hesitation with certain tricks I do now. Like I just don't go as big as I used to. And there's not like, it's hard to overcome some moments where I like look down a bowl and I'm like, oof, I don't want to do that again. Like,
man, I know exactly the spot in your bowl. Do you remember that zero spin that I did that day where I like was inverted upside down and somehow caught myself at the bottom of
yes.
That had to be the spot. That was the weirdest transition in that bowl. You thought you could launch it like 18 feet in the air, and then you get there and be like, oh, no. Yeah. And I remember your girlfriend at the time. She was lovely. That was you're absolutely right, man. It's just like try it for 2 months. See what happens. Like honestly, like I think everyone just give it a shot. Like put it on. Notice how there are so many. Like I can't wait to do a review of all the helmets that I have, because now I kind of like the way that like Lawrence collects skates. I've been collecting like helmets. Like I have five different helmets that I've worn over the past 2 or 3 years, and it's just like now it's like a fashion thing. I'm like, oh, do I want to wear the one with the brim today? Do I want it shiny?
I can't. Do you match your helmets to your shoes?
I wish, but I only have one pair of skates, and they're black. Everything matches. Everything matches. It's perfect.
That's fair.
But yeah, man, like I had no choice.
Yeah.
I had no choice. Coming out of the hospital, the doctor legit was like, don't skate again. And I was like, can I not say anything now? Because it's like telling me not to get a tattoo. There's no way. Like I'm getting more tattoos. I'll be skating again. And then for a long time, I tried to find alternatives to helmets. And my wife kept being like, nope, that's dumb. Nope, that won't work. Nope, I don't care. You can't wear a stylish beanie with padding in it. Nope, none of that. And so
shout out to your wife, man.
Yeah, seriously. I tried for a long time. Like I was dumb enough to be like, I could do something else. Like there's no way that like I have to wear a helmet for the rest of my life. Like, but now your same exact thing. I remember I did one thing. I like strolled over to go get something. I had my skates on. I strolled over to pick something up and I was like, whoa, no. Scurried back to my helmet.
That weird feeling. Yeah. It's like, nope, got to put it on real quick. And I don't want to take away from any of this from you, but like, I made a video, I don't know, 2.5 years ago now about helmets. And the entire point I made is like, you're a grown man on rollerblades. You have nothing to prove to anyone. Like we're nobody, all 10,000 of us in the world, like big deal. You're somebody on rollerblades. If it's your pride and your ego that are getting in the way, like get over yourself. You're a grown man on rollerblades, but you got to find a helmet that fits. You got to try multiple helmets. Not all helmets are made the same. Some have that really hard plastic intersection and they kind of suck when you put them on your head, but they're going to do better for harder impacts. You can get the softer helmets that have the sweat thing. Those are the ones that I swear by. And like, it's better than nothing, but I know it's also not certified. So like I run a risk of like, if I smack my head hard enough, like this isn't really going to do a million things for me or save me, but like try it. Really, like I said the same thing to Brandon Drummond. I was like, I made this video and he came back and he was like, this video is wrong. You didn't have the strap on your chin. You didn't have all this and that. But you know what? Just to prove you wrong, I'll try it for 2 months. He doesn't skate without a helmet now. Like he skates with his helmet on at full time because of that. Like, and shout out to Brandon for like doing that and calling out things that I had wrong in my video because like, I'm not an expert in it. I'm not anything. Like I'm just some dude who rollerblades and I found this thing that I was like, you know, this doesn't bother me. I can still do 540 kind grinds on quarter pipes. I can still do flips. I can still do soul grinds. You know, it doesn't matter. Like the helmet has never changed my skating. All it's done is it's made me more confident that like, if I fall and hit my head, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and still see my family, still see my dog, you know, like still live where I live. And like, I don't have to have that conversation with myself about like, is this the last time I ever get to put on my rollerblades? Like, is this the last time I ever get to experience like flying through the air, you know? So, I mean, it's just a huge part of this. And like, I'm grateful that you found a way with a helmet and your family agrees that like, you're able to do this again because like you are such an integral part of rollerblading and having you here is huge, man. And like, dude, seriously, like I love you, man. I'm so glad that you're here. Like, it's awesome.
Hey, man, that episode you made, I just remember writing you right after and being like, yo, this is so on the level. Like, this is so what we need to see. This is so what everybody needs to hear. And I think I'm gonna make a channel like this. Like, I just remember being like, yes, I get it. This is how you tell the story. It's how you change the narrative. So to see Brandon skating and being well and like being in feast and like wearing a helmet, Mary Munoz wears her helmet, like, you know, you see the people that rock it and we don't even have to talk about like Prado and how his stuff is incredible. The fact that he can do half the tricks he can do right now.
Right.
Seriously.
I aspire to be as good as him on a comeback train. Like, like, bro, your man was out for like a while, like 2 years out. Like, so
yeah.
I do have, I mean, and I do deal with weird things. Like the other day I was trying to figure out why it was I couldn't topsoil my left foot on the quarter pipe. And I was talking to my wife about it. And I remember someone in the comments for an old video was like, you don't do tricks this way. Why? And I was like, I don't know. And it's because I have a lack of peripheral view right here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You literally could just come up on me in certain spots and I won't see you. Yeah. And so I think when I'm trying to do tricks with my left foot, it's a little hard because I miss that moment, right? Where I'm like, oh, there it is. That's the foot. I missed it. I couldn't see it. That happened still. Balance. I'm like amazed when I hold the trick for a long time because I'm like, yes, I can balance again. Like that was 30 seconds of amazing balance. Oh my God. Like I used to have to do exercises where I would stand on a pillow with both feet and look straight and then pick one foot up and try to look left and right without falling off the pillow.
Like that's a pillow. Like it's a pillow. It's not a ball. It's not. It's a pillow.
Pillow. It's not a rail.
Right.
That I'm at the 540 out of. No, it's a pillow, bro. I couldn't do it for months. I just could not do it. And then I could do it with one foot, but not the other. Yeah. And then you fast forward, and it's really just like this whole channel has been a series of stories about resilience.
Yeah.
And how resilient we can be. And then just like some safety and smarts, and then some good skating too. Because I try to skate good. But That's the hardest part. Is like I'm trying to make content that people want to see. Bladers want to see blading, but at the same time, I really want to talk about mental health. I really want to talk about what we've been dealing with in COVID, which is like everyone has had a moment of depression. You may not have known depression before, but I guarantee you we have level set, and 90% of the population has experienced some moment of depression during these last 8 months. Like it's impossible. It's impossible not to have. And so, BSU for sure. Dude, Antonio, come on now. Arsenio's the man, dude.
Arsenio is the man.
That fool. That last, your 1 minute. Where you find that reel, bro? Like for real, can you draw me a pin? I'll fly. Like I'll walk there.
I'll walk with you. I'll skate by you, but you can walk.
Go back and watch his 1 minute. Every single trick he lands, both of his feet are right next to each other. Boop, every time. Never changes. That's
how you're supposed to land tricks. I don't know.
I know it is, and he's the perfection of it. Like
it's not
Arsenio's the man.
It's not a boom boom. It's a
it's every time. There's no split. There's no like. They're slightly askew. Like
shoulders
right there every time.
Feet, shoulders, hips, feet. Your boy is like good man. You BSU for life, man. That's another thing that's come up in this is like it's been fun having a channel because I can say weird things. And like being able to skate with Phil and talk about like what's going on with black skaters and like how the representation isn't where it used to be in rollerblading. Like when we were talking about 2000, you got Murder, you got Rashard, you got Dre, you got Vin, like there was no Bosch, like there was no shortage of black skaters. And now it's kind of like, well, where are all the black skaters? Like somebody had to create a subreddit. There's a dude who created a subreddit of all the black skaters and their channels or their Instagrams so that you just have somewhere to go as like a repository. Like that's kind of sad. Like when you need a repository to find other black skaters, like what? B-Free's got to talk to China to try to get a skate. Like, man, it's weird, man. But it's amazing to be part of this scene, be on this end of it, be able to share my story, be able to like talk up really though, ultimately this mental health component, man. Like I deal with a lot after this TBI, man. Like and New York always had the diversity. That's why I don't think I understand the world from having started in New York. Like I don't get the rest of the world. New York it's like an island of diversity.
Yeah. I'm from the East Coast too. And like, it's the same thing. Like, unfortunately I'm from the South and like, that's where a lot of dumb shit happened in the US's history. But like, at the same time, it's super diverse. Like I get people from Cuba and I get people from Mexico and I get people from all over Europe and I get, black and I get Native American, everything. Like I come here, especially Oregon. I was talking to you guys about this last night. It's like 3% of the population in Portland is black. And it's like, the hell is going on here? But like, we have these huge marches for Black Lives Matter, but like, what are you really doing for your community? Like, what are you really doing to promote all of this to better things? Like nothing really. You're like whitewashing and then you feel like you're an advocate. We can get into a whole thing. And I think that's a whole nother subject. I'm not trying to pull us down that road, but at the same time, like you're absolutely right. Like when was the last black pro skate? Like
we talked about it. We thought it was Montre Sway, right?
That's what we think it's Montre. Yeah. We don't know. Like that's how sad it is. Like we don't know, like
yeah, it's like you gotta laugh at all sometimes because you're like, yeah, no, we really don't know. It's bananas, yo.
Yeah, but that's setting all that stuff aside. Like blading's cool, man, because I'll tell you honestly about this, and this is something I haven't told you yet, Biz. When all the BLM stuff was going on, and we switched over our logo on the site, and we put up in solidarity that we stand amongst everybody. Someone was like, "Oh, it's really dope that you guys hired a black dude," and I was like, "What?" And I had to think about it for a minute, and that was literally the first time in my life I ever went, "Oh, Biz is a black dude." Like. It never crossed my mind. You've always just been Biz. Like, and it's stuck with me ever since. And I'm kind of pissed that it's there, like, honestly, because there was never a color. There was never an identification. Like, you've always been Biz. You've always been a person who, like, I've done anything I can to support. And even before you were on Blader Union, like, we would hit you up all the time and be like, what do you need from us to keep doing this? Like, you're the most incredible voice in blading. Like, please don't stop. Yeah. And it sucks that like someone said that, because I'm like, damn, now the curtain's gone, like. But
furthermore, crazy. Like, that's definitely crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. And it's not, I didn't do it to be ignorant. I didn't do it to do anything else. Like, it never identified. And
No, it's never,
with
and I
blading
never
across
felt
the
that.
board,
Yeah.
there's never been a division of color or anything else. Like, you have rollerblades on your feet. I can tell you what your rollerblades look like. I probably couldn't tell you what your face is. Like, that's the thing, is I remember skate setups, I remember tricks, I remember style, but like, I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible with like everything else that comes along with it. But like, I've got a good memory of all the other weird shit. So like, but blading it's a universal family. It doesn't matter what color you are, what your background is, what kind of shit you've gone through. Like, blading is just blading. And like, you showed up and like, my door's open. What do you need? Like, my skate park's open. I'll take you to my skate park right now. Like, anything. That's how it works. Like, I just do it because I care deeply about blading, and like, watching bladers go through shit sucks.
That's why we're the pillars. I think it's also like, it's an opportunity too for like all of us to step into that role. Like, I have this amazing job. I am the vice president of Bitwise Industries, which is this amazing tech ecosystem in Fresno that's coming to different cities all across the US. And I had that same revelation where somebody was like, what does it feel like to be the first Black VP of this company? And I was like, I hadn't even realized that I didn't even realize that was the case. And B, it feels good. And then I got to the stage where I saw the rest of the employees and I saw the way they looked at me when I was announced as the new VP of this Bitwise Industries. And I saw the people of color look back, and I saw what I was like, this is important. This is important to be Black on this stage. This is important to be the first one. It is important to, right? Like, we look at our upcoming soon to be Madam Vice President, and it's important. It sucks, sure. We're the first. Okay. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna move us forward. And shout out to all the Black Next people out there, my Latinos.
Like the next best thing, dog.
Latinos, Black Next. That's what we are. We're Black Next.
No, but that's the same thing that I've kind of dealt with the same issue. But I think for me, I've always been in situations where I was only Black kid until I got into skating, because Gregory Preston's my best friend, Keith Everett's my best friend, and then I hung out with a lot of Asian fools, Mexican fools, and like blading was like the big melting pot for me. But like in school for a long time, people wanted to touch my hair because I had cornrows at the time. My job that I had,
I need pics.
No, because I was a stubborn kid. Because I knew I'd meet you one day, and you'd use them to my disadvantage. But then, like at the job that I'm working now, I was the only Black person, and then having to work harder and go harder because you are a person of color, and like a lot of white folks don't really understand that, in a sense of I have to tell my bosses all the time of like, I have to go harder and push myself harder and do things more, and I have to be perfect the first time, because if I'm not, things can either go down the pipe or you look at me different ways, and I have to set an example for people coming after me. But I kind of do that when it comes to blading and things of that nature, of just kind of, I have to be either the best or different or make it look good, because I want people looking at me to see this is what it happens when you put in the work and put in the time and do things. You can achieve stuff like that. So that's always crossing my mind. And it's crazy that like that comment came through on when we linked up, because again, like y'all had been bugging me since I started to like the first, like episode 4, Travis hit me up. Is like, what can we do to keep this going? And I was like, just leave me alone and let me do it. And then when it became official, it was literally just this is a no-brainer, because you guys have already been in my corner promoting me and helping me, and I've been promoting and helping you. So it's like, yeah, if I'm going to switch over to Blader Union, whatever, like I'm already pretty much on Blader Union. Like people already thought it was a thing. So it's like crazy, but it's good in the sense that people acknowledge that, because you see a person of color succeeding and doing things correctly, and not doing things correctly, doing things in their own way to make them feel like you can do what you want to do. And I feel that way for Black folks, brown folks, all colors of the spectrum, because I feel like if you have something to offer, share it, because you'll spend a lot of your life doubting yourself, thinking you can't, pushing yourself away from whatever you want to achieve, and you can just go and literally just do it, and something will happen. Even if you touch 2 people, that's 2 people that didn't before. Let's get social, dog. That's a good wheel. Hey, I got mine. I got mine in a frame because I'm cute.
I'll tell y'all and everybody listening too. Red Eye approached us about doing that collaboration wheel because I'm good friends with Buck and John, and they were looking at running their next generation of wheels, and they said, "Hey, is there any interest in doing a collab?" And I thought about it for a little bit, and I went back to them and I was like, the only way I'd want to do it is if I can give Biz a wheel, like, and that was a huge factor for me. And they were like, yeah, that's cool. Like I had to pass it by them because obviously it's their brand that's going to be attached to it too. But I was like, I really like, this is something I'm passionate about. Like this is a person who every week after week pours his heart out into something that like, it's got a small audience, a small group of people. And like, I mean, literally like he's a huge part of the backbone of Blader Union. Like a lot of our success we attribute to the work that he's put in, and like it was the least I could do to repay him, you know, and like I wanted to make sure that was honored. So like seriously, man, I'm so stoked that we were able to do that with you. And like regardless, race, color, all the bullshit, like any of that stuff, like I did it because you're the fucking man. Like that's really what it comes down to. And like shout out right there. Like
real talk though, Biz, you remember when the merger happened, I was like, Biz, you good with this? I was like, you created a brand. Are you good with like moving your brand over? And he was like, 100%, nothing but love and family support. And I was like, cool, I'll watch it on that channel then. You know, like, make sure I subscribe. Like it was.
There's a lot of people that reached out to me in that regards. It's just like, yo, you good on doing this? And I was like, man, it just makes sense. I was like, I'm already fucking with you guys, and you guys have already ridden with me from the beginning. So I'm like, let's just do it. But there's so many people. There are not so many people, but everybody was just like, yo, all right, man. Like, because Greg was like, we're just gonna buy Roller News and then put the video on Roller News, and you'll just be the Roller And like, nah, I definitely appreciate people checking in on me on that. But yeah, it was all love from the jump.
Yeah, and even whenever this eventually comes to an end, hopefully it never does. But like, if there's ever a point where our paths diverge, like it's always gonna be love. Like, Biz has built his brand, he's done his own thing, and like, take it wherever your heart desires, man. Like, if you got bigger ambitions than what we can help you with, like, go get it. And we're never gonna stop you. Like, Twib is you. Like, you own Twib top to bottom. We're that little shout out at the end of it, and like, we do whatever we can to support you. But like, at the end of the day, like, it's things like this. It's things like your program, Kenan. Like, we just want to be a platform that helps elevate voices in blading, because voices in blading are what makes blading better. This is the best community I've ever been a part of. I'm closer to bladers than I am to most of my family.
Dude,
like
facts.
And the door, like literally my door is open. If either one of you showed up right now, or pretty much anybody that's in this chat showed up at my door right now, like there's an extra bedroom, I'd cook food, I'd take you to every skate spot in the city. You're broke, I'd give you money, I'd drive your ass around. Like, blading is bigger than that. Like, it's always bigger than that.
My wife was confused because I was like, hey, Karen, when did we? I was like, I'm pretty sure we went in 2010 first to go see Travis. And she was like, no, it was when we went on the road trip and we were in Hood River. I was like, no, that was the second time we went to go see Travis. Like,
yep.
Hold on, we have another special guest.
Oh, sick. You should get up here, ESG. Let's go.
All right, good. I'm glad I got my introduction out the way.
I got two special guests that came in. They want to say hi. They've been on the chat the whole time. Come on, say hi to everybody, you guys. This is it. This is your moment. This is my son, Maceo.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
And then this is Coltrane of Everything C. Do check out his channel, everybody on the live stream. He's my inspiration. I've told you guys before, but he legitimately is my inspiration. He told me that YouTube was a forum for people to talk, and I was like, really? I just watch like how-to videos. And he was like, no, it's more than that. And I was like, really? Okay, show me some videos. And he did, and I was just like, okay. I could see myself using this as a platform to have a voice, to speak about safety, to speak about mental health, to demystify mental health. I think that's been my biggest goal, is like, you know, it's not that obscure. It's not that out of touch for people to think about how everyone's doing, right? Like, I love you. Oh my God. Oh, you're just knocking my stuff down.
He's in here now. He's the fourth person on the show.
Come on. Wait, you poke me with that sticky. Kids are so sticky.
Kids are so sticky. Yo.
Get in my feels.
Sorry, I like the flavor.
Trash talking too. My boy's trash talk. That's what we do in this house. But yeah, it's been amazing for the last few years to really come into my own in this space and feel confident that I'm having a message that like comes across about just that literally we should talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
we should be open. We should be open to checking in with people. How you doing?
Oh, most definitely.
What's up with you? And not like what's good, but like literally like tell me something good. Because maybe you need to say something good to feel good. Right? Maybe it's a moment really to just be like, you know what? I woke up this morning and that was dope. And that's real. Like that's 100% real. Like as someone who almost lost their life, like I thank God every time I wake up. I don't wake up mad. I used to wake up mad. This one of those dudes that wake up mad, like, I got to do stuff, and I was asleep. It was so comfy and warm in my bed. Now I'm like, all right, I'm groggy as hell, but like, that's good, man. One of my first like real epiphanies came after being in the hospital, coming out. I didn't have dreams for 2 or so months, like no dreams, like none.
Just what?
Wow.
Just no dream.
No dreams. I learned about this thing called sundowning. Some of you might experience it and you don't know it, but it's like if you have anxiety around sleep, meaning you don't get good sleep, or you worry that tomorrow's gonna suck, or you're just in a space where you're like anxious, as the sun goes down, you get revved up. You get more anxious thinking about sleep is coming. So I had a hard time going to sleep, like really hard time. And I would start getting like panicky and freaked out, like at 5 o'clock, like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go to bed in 3 hours. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go to bed in 2 hours. Like, oh my God. And I learned about sundowning. Never knew about that. Never knew that was a thing. Seasonal depression.
Yeah.
That comes around every year for you based on maybe an event. It might be traumatic. You might have had an event that causes you to think about it every year. My family does that. December, I'm trying to change December 10th into something good, because every time we get close to December 10th, when I have my injury, my family goes through depression, right? It's a cycle. Man, I've learned so much about just like literally how we normalize and then shudder. We go, oh, that's just me. So I take melatonin for that. But then the minute you say, hey, have you ever had trouble sleeping? Someone else is like, yo, like legit, bro. I haven't figured out how to sleep in all of COVID because I don't wake up and do things. Like I don't have a schedule anymore. So I haven't figured out how to sleep. And you're like, yo, me too. You start to open up as human to the humanity that we all live through. And then we can start to break some of these like divides that we have. Because the minute that you stop seeing, I don't think color should be omitted, right? Don't get the statement wrong.
Right.
We live our color. Our color is part of our history, our color, our uniqueness, like all of that is strong. But the minute that we stop seeing that as a difference, and we start understanding that the human beneath that is really the like commonality, like Travis, I've seen you as a human since we met each other. I looked forward to powwow to see like what you were gonna add to your razors that year. What skates were you coming with? What frames? What wheels? How many switch tricks were you gonna bring out? Like y'all don't know. Don't sleep on Travis's skating.
Nope.
That's a big. I'm here with two big boys, and I'm big in the center. But like, don't sleep on these two. These boys got feet. That one especially, he's above me. He got feet.
Yeah.
Feet, bro. Big boys with them ballet slippers on. But that's what I always saw. I was like, dang, Travis, like that fool, hips and feet like Shakira, man. God damn.
I played him skate and I was like, this is a mistake. I thought this was going to be easy.
Don't sign me up. But yeah, I think it's legit that like once we start to normalize around the human process and the emotions that we're all going through, we'll start to see people differently. We'll start to see past the skin, right? We'll see it. I don't think you should ever stop seeing it, but see past it. See the human below. And really like that's been the dopest part about this, like this whole experience on YouTube is like the comments and the people that come out and say, talking about how they've had similar experiences or their friend went through something similar. And my God, I watched them get up after knocking their head. We were there at powwow. You have no idea how thankful I was that I took a lunch break for that moment and didn't see Fritz's injury. I don't think I would have been able to come back.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't think I would have been able to do the contest anymore. And like, man,
That's why I asked you that question earlier. What's the hardest thing you've had to do? And that was it for me. Like, that's the hardest thing I had to go through on a microphone is like, I told people that bump in the freaking ramp is going to get you. And I watched Fritz with a smile on his face, staring at the ground, go airborne. And like, I had to run down the steps. I had to pull people away from him. I had to like sit there like, oh, man, it's not fun, dude. It's not fun at all.
That was the moment where I heard you on the mic and I was like, I'm staying right here. I cannot go over there. Like legit, I was like, I'm so sorry Travis has to deal with this, but I cannot go over there. I would scream and cry like a little banshee and run and be like just useless.
The one thing you touched on too that I think is big too, and people need to like, people who have been in blading for a long time need to kind of wake up to it too, is like talking and having open discussions with people. Like, it's super important, and being able to just be vulnerable and talk about that. Like, a lot of people, if you've been blading since the 90s, you remember the worst thing you could say to another rollerblader is you're gay. And that was like the deepest insult. Like, blading is dead because somebody made a gay joke about us. Like, just remember that. Like, we're nowhere because someone made a gay joke about us. And the thing is, like, you call someone gay now and like, you're a piece of crap for doing that. Like, I'm watching the language because of the kids, but like, you're a piece of crap for doing that, man. Like, you don't, it's just ridiculous. And the thing is, like, we're all human underneath all of it, under the color, under, the sexual orientation, under everything. Like, we're humans, and we all have this crave and need to talk to one another. And like, this year has been tough for every single person. Like, we have all been trapped in our homes, and we've lost friends, and we've lost family, and we've been more divided as a nation, and we've been more divided as people around the world, like, on how things are. And this isn't a thing about what your political view is, what your feeling on a mask is, what your feeling is on COVID or anything else. Like, the reality is like, we're all humans and we all want to talk. And like, when you guys are done here tonight, like, think about someone in your phone who you haven't talked to in a minute, send them a text, like, call your mom, call your girlfriend, call somebody and just tell them you love them. Like, tell them how much you care about them, because it could be any moment where you go out and you do a soul grind and like, that's it. Like, that's the back of your head and that's the end of your day right there. Like, there's so many people in my life that I love and like, I care about, and I have no problem telling people I love them. I have no problem telling people I care about them. I think about them. Like, there shouldn't be, there's no hidden anything that needs to exist anymore. Like, be honest with people, talk with people. Like, you're not alone. Every single person who's listened to this has been depressed, has gone through some stuff. Like, we all have. And like, everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs a friend. Like, you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. And every single person who you see on this right now, like Ken and myself, Biz, like, we're one DM away. Like, shoot us a message. We'll talk to you. Doesn't have to be like this. Doesn't have to be anything. Like, you're not alone from anybody. Right. Every single rollerblader cares about every single rollerblader. We've all got struggles. We've all got problems. Like, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the problems are. Just know that like, you're loved from all of us. Like, that's it, man. That's blading.
And it's like, a lot of times as men, we forget to be emotional and to be able to speak to each other and talk to each other. And that's because of this. A lot of the things that come from the society that we live in is just like, men aren't allowed to have feelings, aren't allowed to cry, aren't allowed to be emotional. We're just supposed to be tough, strong, not talk to anybody, and deal with stuff internally. And I deal with that on a daily basis. Like, I'm glad that the comments are like great on your show. They're also great on mine, but it's just like the one or two that come in that just, it's the reason why I can't sleep at night. The one or two of them that come in, it'll be a list of 60 great Biz, you are great. You are doing something amazing for society. And then there's one that's just like, you're a clown. I'm like, all right, well, that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. But that's also because we don't talk about it. We just internalize it, and then it explodes. Like, I'm not condoning any kind of like crazy behavior, but it's just like, a lot of the times it's that we're sitting on so much internally that we don't express it. And so those one or two text messages that you get from the homies are just like, yo, you good? Like, you really need to talk? Like, what's the deal? Like, you want to get a drink? Like, you want to grab some, I don't know, ice cream? Like, we as a society, we're ice cream. I love ice cream.
I hope Soderbergh's hitting you up for that.
You said what?
I hope Soderbergh's hitting you up for that. Yeah, let's go get ice cream, bro.
He only eats Del Taco. As a society, we're so stuck in this way of like, and then we get it from everywhere. We get it from other men who are saying like, why are you crying about this? Like, why are you issued about this? We get it from women who want men to be these strong Hulk-like providers, and like doesn't understand that we have feelings and we need to talk. And like, so rollerblading has always been, again, it's like you guys said, like my best friends are rollerbladers, all of them. And especially like from the boys, shout out to Easy, shout out BDC, shout out all of them. They know that when it comes down to it, if you need us, we're there. Like if you need to sit on the phone for an hour and just vent to me about anything, like holla at me. And it's like those 1 or 2 text messages that you think about, like maybe just send that, like you were saying, Trevor, just send that text and check on your homeboy, or just tell your people that you love them. And I tell them, they get weird about it sometimes, but I tell these fools I love them in the group chat once a month. Like once a month, I give them a paragraph and I'm listen, I love you for this, I love you for that, and I love all of you for these things. It's just important.
The reason why I said what I said earlier about the gay comment too is like, think about everybody who's been in this for a minute. Think about 2000 and your friend comes up to you and calls you gay and you're like, man, that hurts. Like, why would you call me gay? I'm not gay. Like, you have all this defense. Think about 2020. Somebody walks up and calls you gay and you go, yeah, and what? Like, who cares? Think about that when you're thinking about like, how do I talk to my friends? How do I do stuff? Like, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And all this is perpetuated from like social media. You watch everybody's highlight reel. You watch everybody's best skating, everybody's best performance. Like, I'm not going to try and clown on him, but like Cody Clark lives out here and Cody films a lot and we film a lot of tricks, and like, he'll do a trick really well, but he'll land like slightly off or something. And we'll refilm that trick like 20 times and he'll post it in his story and it disappears in 24 hours. And it's like, did it really matter that your foot was like slightly askew at the end of it? Like, dudes who are clowning on you over the little tiny stuff, you don't need them. Like, just disconnect from it. You don't need all that stuff, man. Like, people care about it. I care about Cody. Cody's a dope dude. And like, takes a little bit of the gruff off, he'd be sick, you know, like everything would be chill, but he needs to chill. Like, everything's gotta chill. But
I'm gonna text him
like
right now.
I can't imagine Cody Clark without the gruff. I'm sorry.
Exactly. But at the same time, man, like, who cares? Like, who cares if you're vulnerable? Who cares if you cry? Who cares if like you shout out your homie and you say you love him? Like, who cares? Who cares? It's the same thing I was saying with the helmet, is like, who cares? It's bigger than this. It's bigger than anything else. It's people in your life. It's your mental health. It's your mental well-being. If I don't get to go skate, I wake up terrible every morning. I have a terrible time at work. I have a terrible time focusing. I go to the skate park and I throw myself as hard as I can at the dumbest possible tricks that I can think of. And that's what makes me happy. And like, I want to wake up tomorrow and do that again. I want to wake up the next day after that and do that again. And I want to be able to have open and honest communication with people who are important in my life. And I want to remind people, like, I care about them, even if I don't talk to them. Like, Biz, I text you all the time. And I'm like, all the time. I'm just like, you good? I say nothing else. Like, you good? That's it. Like, you just need anytime.
That. Yep, I'm straight. And then
we're good. Anytime you're like, oh man, I think I'm gonna skip an episode this week or whatever. And I'm like, okay, and like, who cares? Like, you do so much for blading. Who cares? Like, just do it. So, like, for real, everybody out there, like, we're one text message away. We're one anything away. Every YouTube creator that's out there, every single person you connect with, your family, your friends, like, just talk. Just the most open thing you can do is have that first conversation. And I promise you, 2 hours later, when you're done talking and you walk away, the weight of the world is going to be off your shoulders and you're going to be walking so high. Like, you need that. And we all need that right now, especially this year. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Spread the micro love. I think literally, man, the thing I miss the most is walking up to some random stranger on the street and being like, yo, those shoes are fire. And then just walking away. Yeah. Like, damn, I never seen those, and I'm out. Like, I just want to say that to you, and I'm ghost, but like micro love, like sharing, like you said, that I used to do that. Text people, like random people you haven't texted in a minute, just to say hi, just to send them a picture of your kid. Be like, yo, look, kid was funny today. Here you go. Maybe Ryan Lewis sends me like random gifts of like people dads. He is all about sending me gifts of dads dancing on TikTok. I think it's perfect. I dance on TikTok. I think that should dance.
I'm not there yet, so I don't get it.
Froyo with the broyos.
Yep.
Yo, can we do that after this? All three of us? You know what? Let's
I got a
just
long
stay
drive,
on this
man.
call and get Froyo. All right, guys, bye. We're gonna get Froyo now.
Right?
Yeah.
The hour lag while we all go get Froyo. No, thank you guys. This is everything I could have dreamed of, man. Like, we're literally having this conversation with the two of you. And my wife last night was like, man, how could you have anything more to say to them? And I was like, yeah, right. We talked for like 6 to 7 hours. It's good.
Yeah.
But yes, like, there's so much more. There's so much more we can dive into, especially when we start to really look at people, like you said, Travis. It's just like, throw away all the veneer, throw away all the like pretense. Tell your homies you love them. Men should be able to tell men they love them. Like, it's no big deal. It doesn't mean I want to sleep with you if I don't want to sleep with you. But if I do, hey, ask me first, because that's like, you don't mean just coming at me like that. But love, man, like, I don't know. Yeah. I think about the Bladies, what they're going through right now, their movement for equity. I support that 100%. Shout out to Montre for having a contest that was like off top. Bladies are getting equal prizes. I sent him money. I was like, just give this to the Bladies. He was like, so many people have said that. I was like, all right, so split it evenly, fine. Like, right? Like, we have to do these things because, like I said, we are pillars of the community, and there are people out there that don't agree 100% with what we said. And I'm not gonna tell those people to leave blading, but I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna set an example of what I want blading to look like.
Right.
Yep.
Years ago, I put an American flag on my front porch because I was like, I'm American, y'all. This is what America should look like. Like, don't trip on what everyone else thinks America should be, because this is what I think America should be. So, like, hey, I got my own version of America. Maybe it'll be everybody's one day. So, I think, shout outs to you two. Shout outs to Blader Union. Shout outs to Twib. Like, oh, wait, what skates did you sustain your TBI in? Stop it, Ronnie. You know the answer to that. You know the answer to that. I do funny because he bought them skates. I sustained my injury in some USD Matthew Ledoux's, and I couldn't look at them afterwards. I just couldn't. They couldn't be on the shelf. There was nothing.
Thanks, Arsenio.
You were riding the Red Boys?
I was with white.
And that's the reason. No red skates.
I rode those skates too, man.
No red skates.
I know your take, okay, buddy. You calm down.
It's gonna.
I love affiliated.
Not affiliated. What are you talking about?
I had to get rid of those skates. I could not skate those skates anymore. I literally put them on my feet, and they were like uncomfortable.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Anytime I get injured in a skate, they go away. Like, first thing I did.
They get new life. They, like, other people breathe new life into them, and they can be like exercised of all the evils. So Ronnie, you got good skates. Don't worry, them skates was in good condition. That's really funny though. I like that. I'm glad you're here. I remember when I sold those on Blade Trade, and homie asked afterwards, like, "Are these the skates that you hit your head in?" I was like, "Yes."
Please take them. Get them away from me.
Yeah.
No bad hooji though. Skates are all about the person in them.
Right.
I like that questions are coming in now, but we got to wrap up. But that's okay.
We still got a minute. I mean,
really?
We got any time you want. Like, we can just keep going. It don't matter. But if anybody in the chat has any questions you want to know, like, obviously we've talked on a lot tonight, but like, feel free to pop it in. That was the whole point of this. Like, I know we got overrun just talking BSing amongst each other, but
it's just friendships just blossoming again. Just like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while. Let's talk about all of our everythings.
Yeah.
Arsenio, come to Cali, please, when we can, and we can be like unmasked would be even better. But let's figure it out, because like, legit, I would love to skate more with Arsenio. There was a moment where we were in New York. Do you remember that, Arsenio? We were in New York for, God, it was one of the New York Skate Series contests, and it was just random that I was in New York and you were in New York. Like, two people are not in New York on a regular basis, and I just remember the session that we had on like a bike rack. Like, it was just like epic. Like, everyone just throwing hammers, and I think Arsenio won because we were all just trying to keep up with him.
Dude,
that was one of those contests where I was trying to MC and skate biz. I've done it before. It doesn't work. I did that at a powwow once. I tried to enter the 30 and above contest, and you're just so like out of it that you get up.
Well, that's because you're 30 and above. So
how do I kick him out of this call?
I'll leave. All right, bye guys.
You came in unannounced with your young self. Like, what?
We'll let him go back to his Bocce Pope OnlyFans. He'll be all right.
Stop it. Stop.
Bocce pipe.
Bocce pipe.
I can't. Y'all know I can't. Stop it. When you know somebody from when they 12, you just, there's things you can't think about. Can't think about. Yeah, you definitely got first place, Arsenio. I remember that contest. How much fun is mocking Travis's negative Machio? None. I made an entire edit for that where Phil is teaching me how to do a negative Machio, and I missed so many that I got frustrated editing it and just stopped editing it.
You got frustrated editing it.
I don't even want to put it out. Like, there's just so many missed negative Machios thanks to Travis.
Yo, Travis, your negative Machio game is insane. You did one for the wheel promo. I had to put that as like your ender for your part. I was like, yo, I did not know you had it that good. Like, I knew you had it good, you know. I didn't know it was that good.
Yeah. The new one I've been doing is true fish, true negative fish, like switching the feet. I've been doing that a lot recently now, like on a rail.
Yeah, can you mock that up, please, Biz? Go mock that up on your bed real quick. I don't understand what that means. I don't.
What?
So do a true fish, and then get off your fish brain foot with the other foot and do negative fish
with the same foot.
No, it's the other
opposite foot.
Oh, my brain doesn't even think. I can't.
That's some Josh Latona tricks. We can't. I thought we left those in like '97.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You broke my brain, Travis. I'm trying to do it with my feet, and I'm like, yeah, Arsenio, you're right. Travis is a beast.
It's a beast. He keeps it quiet about it, man. He sent me those clips, and I was like, oh.
I was legit mad because I didn't have the letters for the Slack Game of Blade, and I was like one letter away, and Travis had the trick before me, and then he pulled out that stupid negative Machio, and I was like,
look at his face too. He's just like, yeah, I know I did that. Yeah,
I know.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'll put that edit out, but I'll do it like Brandon does, where it's like a 65-minute B-roll of me just missing 1,000. Like there's ones where I got like 4 inches of grind, and you see me afterwards like, yes, but no, I could have done it. Or like I can't do the 180 out, so I'm like stuck doing weird body.
The thing that was super annoying about that though, like I went out to go film it, and that for me, like negative Machio was like first try, like that's a normal trick for me. It took me an hour to get the 180 out, and I was like, really? I went home and I was so mad at myself. I know that means nothing because you're like, whatever, stupid.
Still,
but like, yeah, it was ridiculous. Normally, like I'll do that shit first try. So
does it count if it took you an hour to do it though?
Yeah,
that's how we play the game skate, man. You get a week to film.
I wasn't invited.
It took me a week to just give up, to decide that like, I beat my skates up, man. Like,
oh yeah, that's right. You tore up the toe. Yeah,
no, inside, like missing this.
Oh
my God, I hate that. I really do. Like we're friends and all, but like that was a moment. I was like, Travis, I might come up to your house real quick and just Anya Harding style, be like,
and just whoop him for it, because that's. Valo Biz used to have a negative Machio, but Them Biz stays away from negatives now. I don't have to prove anything to anyone.
No, that's right.
We sold out of wheels. I don't have to do that anymore.
That's fair.
Valo Biz proved it all. It's good.
Valo Biz, man. He was an anomaly. I used to not like that guy.
Yeah, Valo Cannon. I like Valo Cannon. He had a lot of tricks in Valo.
I met you as Valo Cannon.
Yeah. Switch fish brain.
Did you have the green digitals?
Say it again.
Did you have the green digital? No, that was
Yvonne had those.
That was who?
Yvonne
had those. Well, Yvonne had everything, but that was that fool used to work at A-Mall. Tim.
He had those?
Tim had the black and green digital ones.
My favorite Valos, I had 2 favorite Valos that like I wish I still had, honestly. The all white Alex Broskow White Rabbits.
Okay.
Those were so pretty.
Yeah, those were sick.
So pretty. And the black and gold, like they made no sense color combo ones.
The other Broskows?
Yes. Those are my favorite too. I
wanted
those forever.
I wanted the prototype ones that they had on the site for a minute. That was more gold than it was black. Dude, I've been looking so hard for those.
Gold on the like cuff piece too, like the up by the ankle.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I had the Ichis.
I dropped money on those for real.
I got Massimo Tasson's old ones.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's sick.
Hella feet in. It was perfect. I could do anything in them. I was like, yeah, just so worn.
Wow. And that guy's a beast of a guy too. Just as size of person.
Yeah, just man weight. Like he has a man
weight. Yeah.
That dude's big. Like there are people that I avoid at skate parks, like Jason Reduta. I will go like this to try to get away from like Kasi or Reduta. I'll be like, no, out of the way. There's some kids I just run over. I'm just like, get out of here, little kid.
I've been running over people lately because I realize that I'm bigger than most of the blade population. So just like, you know what? If you're gonna be in my way, you will get hit and you will suffer. I won't get hurt.
No, not at all. A bunch of old Valos are back in stock at Roller Warehouse.
Yeah.
Really?
So I think they bought Rossi's inventory because Rossi's had a ton of them on that whatever site, and it seems like they ended up with all of them. So if you wear big size Valos and you want some dope skates at a good price, go pick them up because like
should I bring out
Valos are so sick.
I can get the 80 golds. Oh no!
Over here, I got like my little display, and I got my Alex Broskow, or not the Alex Broskow, but the VX ones chilling over there.
Yo, he's right. They are all on here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I be Valo Biz again?
I think you should be Valo.
No one wants that. You know what? Actually, I never got Victor's skate. I'm about to buy both of them.
Wait, they got black Victors up there?
They got black Victors
the olives,
up there.
yeah. Or wait, no, is it the original one
it's
or
size
the olive
6.
One? The original is black. The
original's black, and then the green one.
Yeah, second one's olive.
Gotcha.
I didn't get Brandon's skate, and I didn't get Vic's skate, and that upset me. It was like
they have size 6 and 7.
Oh.
I got Brandon's skate. I'm stoked. It's one of my favorite skates.
Dude, I have those gray Baileys, and those are the ones I really wanted. The gray Baileys and the Sedicheros were the two that I wanted, and I ended up getting the Sedicheros when they came out. I harassed Matt Mickey. Huh?
You got the gray Baileys later. I remember skating with you.
Yeah, I have them now. But like when the Ichis came out, I like harassed Matt Mickey. I'm like, hey, did you get them yet? Are they here? Did you get them? Hey, you got them yet?
I would get them just to like, I'd get the size 6 just to have them on the wall, the Victors. But like, I used to have to go do so much to Valos to get them to fit. I had really wide feet.
Yep.
But to get them to fit, it was like toe cut all the way up to like the first set of like lace eyelets. Like I had to toe cut that thing back so far to get, and I would get these weird, this is the craziest thing. You know, like, so your foot's like that, right? And you got your big toe and you got a bunion from K2s that's like really just hurting your life because it makes all shoes look bad. But then underneath it, I would get this pocket of fluid from my Valos. And I still skated those for like 8 years. Like I didn't care. Whatever.
I always had to, like, I can't ride the M12 shell. I have to like shell size up to skate them. And I never wanted to do that. So I got some Valo lights finally. Valo was dead. And like, I picked them up and man, I was like, I should have done this sooner. Like I could wear a 10 and it fit good. And that sole plate, the 2-piece sole plate skated so good. Like, oh man, I was missing out. That's when I was like, I got to find those gold prototypes in a size 10. Like
you weren't missing out. I broke so many Valo lights as a 190-pound man.
Yeah,
so many Valo.
Well, I got the V2 Valo light shell. I hit up Long at Oak City, and he sent me like the second one because I know the first one, like they had the little square things, and they would just snap off the bottom all the time. Because like the sole plate was attached to the boot, but the frame was attached to the sole plate. So there's like a huge point where like, okay, and then you have sharp edges in carbon, and when you flex on it, they just snap out.
Plus, it had the heel had the 6 bolts or 4 bolts that Valo used for the sole plate. So you took carbon, you found its smallest pinch point, and you stuck a bunch of holes in it. I remember, like, not shout out to Bo Connington ever, but Older Blader, the Older Blading series of videos, I have a trick in there where I'm like jumping. I do a roof gap, and then I do this big backside royale where I gap to this like low ledge, and I land it. And like later that day, I went home to like put together, like, you know, like piece back my skates. I was like, oh, let me make sure everything's tight. And I took the sole plate off and the entire heel had disintegrated.
Whoa.
It was no heel, like nothing, like no, it was dust, like carbon dust. And I was like, oh my God, I've been skating these and there's like nothing, like zero keeping me in the skate. Oh no.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I got a pair of. Greg gave me his old pair that he toe cut, like the first pair of Valos I ever got, and I was like, these are the best things ever. And then I had the Ichis, and I was like, oh, this is different. But I never skated the carbons because Keith broke 2, and like
He broke.
I'm not hating on anything that they did at that time, but I was just kind of like, man, I guess if Keith broke them, I'm bigger than Keith, so let me not skate these things.
I remember Keith's clip breaking him. He was like mid grind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I remember. Like the whole sole plate and frame just came straight off this boot. Like that was it.
It's like, bye. You have nothing. You're in a run this out.
He was a trendsetter though. He's doing it before the new Razor skates were doing it.
You know the vibes. You know the vibes.
I'm not trying to hate, man, but like
I didn't say it.
I blew those sole frames off my prototypes so many times. Like
This is
the last like 6 weeks I had them, it was every session they come off 3 or 4 times. The whole sole frame would come off.
No, I my adapt now. They're great.
Yep.
I love my adapts.
All right then. So,
well, gentlemen, I thank you. We're at almost 7:30, so we've been doing this for 2 hours almost, and we could probably go on forever. And we
definitely could.
I think we just run this back. We do the round table one more time. Maybe it's not to ask me anything, and we just talk and do it live so people can listen to us talk about other stories. Because I got a lot of other stories too. There's Motor City Shakedown where I mushed the kid into the door and like was like, it's an after party. No, it's a now party. Like that's
It's a now party.
that's like a 3-hour story in of itself, man. Like there's so much happened that weekend. But this has been amazing. Shout out to everyone who stayed with us, who checked it out. Shout out to everyone who's checking out the stream late afterwards. This has been something I have wanted to do for a very, very long time. Biz, thank you for checking in, man. You know, we couldn't have like literally had something this fun and not included you. Like I think that would just be wow.
I would have been bitter about it on the show this week. So
hey, look at that. Maybe I'll make Twib this week and it won't just be like you stealing my face.
Listen, that soundbite was so good.
That was. I was so happy that it made it into a Braille video. It was like my like YouTube minute of fame. I was like, hey, I'm in a Braille video. They have millions of
dude. I have one. Oh my god! I know we need to wrap this up, but I was in that one Braille video, and there's a comment. You said it to me.
I sent it to you. It's the best comment.
He said, and I quote: "Somebody needs to give me this mod so that for my GTA San Andreas." I didn't know Big Smoke could skate, and I couldn't even be mad.
No.
Like I couldn't. It's too well written for you.
I'm pretty sure I sent you like I'll take a number 9 large, 2 number 9s. Should have got on the train, CJ.
Should have got on the train, CJ. I was like, yo, oh,
Big Smoke.
Oh man, I'm famous. I'm famous now.
That's real good. You should be famous. I should find that and just like be like, subscribe to Big Smoke here. Like,
Awesome, dude.
But yeah, Blading on the Brain family, thank you for checking in. Do subscribe. Do subscribe to Blader Union so you can catch all of the Twib updates. Do make sure you do it for the Twib and come out fakey, or else will make you do it again.
You always come out fakey.
I know. I forgot. And
sorry.
Support all of the YouTube rollerblade channels out there. I think it's really important that we get ourselves up there and notice so that we come up in the rankings and the searches and the SEOs and the analytics and all that good stuff. I think Acosta had a great idea, and that's like just put one of these channels on before you go to bed. Oh, there it is.
Oh, you have it.
Oh my god.
I've never seen Big Smoke rollerblade so smooth like that.
Did they put the image cap, or did you go back to add the image cap?
There's just
somebody from the Slack to Blading found this and screenshot it, and I was like, "Yo, this is it."
Wow!
You can't be mad at that.
No, I'm really not mad at that at all. I'm more amazed that they came with it that like accurate and hard.
Oh, man, YouTube comments never fail, man.
Oh,
they're always winning.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, you do this, Travis. Y'all do this to me. You just blow my mind, and I'm supposed to like.
We're trying to get off the call, and then we're back in it. We're back in it again. Let's go 2 more hours. All right, next question.
For real though, take care. Like everybody, take care of each other. Shout out your friends. When you get done with this, like pick up the phone and call somebody. Just pick it up and be like, "Yo, I love you." And like, do that. It's important. It's important now more than ever. And like, keep supporting people who support blading. Like that's the biggest thing for me. Myself and Daniel, we do a lot like on the back end to make sure that we try and support like the real stuff in blading. And like both these dudes are a huge pillar in rollerblading. So like, thank you for having me on. Thank you for being in my life, Kenan. Like, thank you for everything you've ever done for blading. And like, again, man, I'm so grateful that you're here. Like, for real.
Most definitely.
Let's get social.
All right, guys. See
Back
you guys
to
later. Guys, have a good night. I'm gonna go.
Oh my God!
Find where I was going.
And that's the end of the stream, you guys. Do follow, do subscribe. Oh my goodness. Wow.